Hey guys, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Last I checked, a month. Crazy. Well, it's been a hectic month. But this will be the last video of the Dallas internship vlogs. Thunder, rain, crying, baby screaming. Um, but the videos aren't gonna end. We're gonna try and keep posting when we are kind of road tripping back. But I would say that this was a planned occurrence, but it wasn't. In reality, work just got super busy, and I ended up having to basically decide between how much time I was focusing on work, how much time I was focusing on my needs being fulfilled, um, and then also content creation, and it ended up being uh, work and not pulling my hair out every night. Hopefully this last video will help kind of round it out, give the big updates, and I'll do a lot of reflection. I think this internship really taught me a lot, just in the ways of learning pre-press, learning how print studios work, and kind of I feel like the physical aspect of graphic design, and I think it's really holistically built me up to understand what's feasible when creating something. Well, what's feasible, and then what's going to be efficient when they're making it. Because I got to go through a lot of files that were not great, and we had to spend a long time working on them. And there's some stuff I saw on the floor that was an absolute pain to put together. And that doesn't mean that I shouldn't do those designs, but that shouldn't be what I'm sending to printers and finishers 100% of the time. And when I do send those, I need to be 100% transparent. This might cause an issue, this might cause a problem. That's what the client wants. I think I also learned just a lot of stuff about myself. I got to go to a lunch with Whitney Holden, who's a graphic designer and I believe lecturer here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And she was probably one of the most loveliest people I've ever met. She really gave me perspective on how I want to take the direction of my career. Because originally I was gonna probably take a gap year and then straight away go into grad school. But now I'm going to attempt to really get into the industry, work in it for a couple years, maybe a decade, and then go to grad school if I ever want to teach, which, who knows? But I think it also really taught me to, how I need to value my worth and myself. And it's not that, I wasn't valued at work, quite the opposite, actually. But it really put in perspective, how much I should be charging for and how I need to present myself, which, sorry, I'm looking at the clock because I have to leave soon, but it really kind of put into perspective how I should treat myself, and how that it's weird, but I'm not a student anymore, at least for now, but I'm not a student. I am an acting professional. I'm a working professional in the business. And so I do deserve to be paid as such. I deserve respect in that way, which that was kind of hard to learn. And I think overall it just really taught me, or not really taught me, but really showed me what I think I value in life. Because I loved working, and I do really love working at a print shop. And in fact, I applied for a letterpress studio as a graphic designer and intern, just because I love the environment so much. But I think it also showed me how much I do value being able to express myself in other artistic ways other than just graphic design, and how much I really appreciate just home life, in the way that I enjoy sitting down and having a meal with my family, and just having that moment to reflect on the day, and also just kind of be without any technology. And I also learned I love going out, I didn't really meet anyone. I feel like I met one person, and that was at Clampett, and I'll talk about that later. But like just going out in the way of like exploring a new city. I think traveling's just a big thing for me. So like now going forward into this next step of my life, into my career, I know that I want to like focus on my career, and like I know what path I want to take for that, but I also want to make sure that I'm gonna still be traveling, or in some way just like being creative, getting out there. Um, but yeah, I guess lots of personal growth, you know. But in the end, like because there was a choice. Check on the clock. There was a choice of like staying here and continuing to work, for the company I interned at, or even just staying and finding another job here. But I think ultimately, like I don't want to say but I need to go back to Washington. Like there's so much, I guess, like familial kind of I don't want to say requirements, but things I need to do for my family, like first. And I think I've always kind of been that way, where it's kind of family first. So there's like a few things I need to wrap up, square away, just be there for them. But also like I've talked about with Logan, I just don't really see a future for myself here in Texas, being who I am, really. Like just, and I know there's people like me everywhere, but like I don't think I would be fulfilled here, and that's kind of unfortunate because there's actually so many design jobs here and everyone's super nice, but there's just other factors in play. But I've had someone reach out to me in Washington, so that's been exciting. But I've also applied now to, I think, like 8 jobs. So crossing my fingers, crossing my toes, but I am really excited for this new chapter. Obviously, I'm scared. Obviously, I'm nervous, but I'm excited to like be working in a field that I love, and I'm gonna keep trying to do better. I'm gonna do some personal projects along the way, probably for fake businesses. If you're a real business and you want something, hit me up. I will do it. But right now I don't really have that, so I'll just be making fake businesses and then doing branding stuff for that. But it'll be fun. I'm gonna try and push myself, but I'm also gonna let myself be easy on myself sometimes, and see where I need to like take breaks, and just like allow myself some breathing room. So a lot of personal introspection happening on this internship. More than I thought it would be, but we'll get more in depth with that. But right now, as of this segment, we gotta go at 7:30. Hit the road. And then we transition to the next segment. Yay! How has your experience in Dallas been?
Hi. I found this monkey.
Oh, fuck, I made it more blurry.
Barbecue was pretty good. The zoo and aquarium were pretty cool. The aquarium was more zoo than aquarium, but that's fine. There were monkeys there. That was pretty cool. The big cats were back at the zoo. That was pretty awesome. Got to see those guys. Yeah, food here's pretty good. We don't go out too much, so yeah.
Oh, hey. That was my book that I was reading, introspectively. I'm a savant of the scholars. So, we're at the last week. I just realized we're recording with audio when the dishwasher's going on, but that's fine. There's dishwasher noise in the back. So be it. But we're in the last week of the internship today. This will probably go out on Friday or Saturday. But today's Wednesday, so I'm about halfway through my last week, and things have been hectic, which is kind of why I haven't been updating as much. And also, it kind of became a chore to do these videos, which is sad. But I think we just need a little bit of a break to kind of reset. But a lot has happened since then, because I think a big part of why we slowed down the videos was just not a lot was happening. And then, like, as soon as we stopped, we decided to do like 5 or 4 billion things. So point one, where I think we left off, is we flew back to Washington for Rickey's birthday, and we went to the Ren Fair, and that was an absolutely wonderful time. Love seeing my friends. We saw a falconry show there. Food was pretty good for the most part. The barbecue there was good, but obviously not as good as here. Don't know if we'll ever get that again, but that was great. Funny story, as we were leaving, Rickey had realized he forgot his water bottle at one of the vendors. So I jumped out of a moving car and then ran back into the Ren Fair to grab it, and then jumped back into a moving car once it had fully come around. So that was fun. And then some other activities we did when we got back, is we realized, oh goodness golly gee, we only have 5 weeks left. I might have been 4 at that point. But like we still hadn't done a lot of stuff. So we went to Meow Wolf. Explored around there. That was Logan's first time in one of their exhibitions. And it was really awesome. It was really cool. I don't know if it was bigger or smaller than Omega Mart. I feel like it was smaller, but it was a great time. Had a lot of fun. We also went to the zoo, and we went to the Fort Worth Zoo, not the Dallas Zoo. And I will say, probably one of the best zoos I've been to. I've been to 2. So the bar was low, I guess. I don't know, but great zoo. Really makes me want to go to the San Francisco Zoo, which I've heard is really good. I just want to kind of travel and see zoos. I think I'd love to do that. Like road trip and go to a bunch of zoos. We also went to the Dallas Aquarium, which Logan mentioned previously. It was a good facility for animals. Would I call it an aquarium? No, I wouldn't. It was just kind of like a second zoo. There were more animals than fish. I need to do more research on it, but a lot of the enclosures were like kind of small, and that might be enough room for them. And they might be bigger than I think. But the sloth was kind of just out there. He was just on a branch. I have a picture of it. He was just kind of on a branch. And I don't know, some of the monkey enclosures were kind of like, not like the actual size of my hands, but they were smaller. So I don't know, but they also like do conservation efforts. So I don't know, but it was an extremely cool place, I will say. But like, there were definitely more animals than fish, or more mammals than fish. And also, anytime there was a dark crevice, they put a frog there. There were so many frogs, but we did have a good time, and we got a shot glasses. We'd be getting shot glasses at all these places, and it was a great time. I think those were the main ones. Oh, we saw another jaunt. We did. We went to go see the 50th anniversary of Jaws. The 50th anniversary of Jaws. And we were hoping it was going to be in film. We saw it in IMAX, but we were hoping it was going to be IMAX film. And we're like 99% sure it was. So that was, the movie's just good. Seeing it in IMAX was great. I think that was my first IMAX movie. Seeing it in film, chef's kiss. Separately, Logan wasn't with me, but I got to tour the Clampett paper facilities. I got a tour from Don Clampett himself, the guy. Which I learned that his father was actually the one to purchase the land at first, And he pretty much purchased all of, I believe, the area of like that industrial play, like the industrial area. So like where I work, so that's like crazy. But it's extremely nice. They have a creative center there that like after you go there, and like so like a teacher has to bring you in, or you know like you have to know about it to use it. Sounds weird. Whatever. But they have a creative center that has like samples of work that they've printed on the paper that Kamen sells, and it's you can just hang in there. They got free drinks. You can hang and be creative. It's like it's a great space, and kind of sad that I'm leaving it. But the I don't know her position, but there was a very nice person there, and we had a good rapport, and I believe her name was Alex. I hope you're doing well. They get paper in as these huge rolls, and then they feed them through a machine and cut them into sheets. So I got to see that, and that's probably like, I don't know, the size of at least like 2 school buses. If I fell in, it would eat me, but I wouldn't fall in because it's very safe. But yeah, I got to like see the whole warehouse. It was awesome. And then Logan joined me after in the creative center. That was awesome too. But those were kind of, I feel like those were the big excursions we did. We did, and I feel bad. We went to a lot of Asian grocery stores, and I feel dragged Logan along with me. But I had a good time. And he didn't complain about it. So, whatevs. But other than that, we really just kind of stayed at home. Friends, if you're watching, much to your delight, I have finally watched Longlegs after almost a year. It's good. I liked it. I need to start a letterbox, by the way, so I can like leave my review for movies. But it was good. Very beautifully shot. I did like the story. There was some points where I was a little confused. But I feel like just in general, it made me really excited for weapons, which I also need to watch now. And I promise I will not take a whole year to watch it. If I do, I'll give Logan $10. So there's that. But yeah, we mostly just kind of hung out in the apartment. I think, and a big part of that is just my pay isn't I don't want to say it isn't enough. It was enough, but I couldn't supplement it with like going out a lot just because I chose a really expensive apartment, and that's on me. But yeah, it's like I didn't make enough to like go on a lot of excursions, because there's like a couple things that I wish I did, and that because it's not like I'll never do it, but more just like I'm gonna have to come back. I never got out to Marfa, which I heard is a very like big artist and design hub. I didn't go to any art museums, which I am sad about. But if I'm gonna be honest, if I had to pick between a zoo and an art museum, it's a zoo, and I'm sorry, I really love animals. But I didn't get to go to a lot of art museums. There was a natural history museum that's literally a cube, and the only thing I could like see into it when we passed it, leaving the aquarium, was there was a literal freaking Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil in the stairwell. And that was super cool. So we didn't get to do that. And I feel like we didn't get to explore like actually like the city of Dallas very much. But like all this to say, like I feel fulfilled in what we did. So that's that. Either earlier or later in the video, I will have either talked or I will talk kind of about like the more, I guess, introspective aspects of it. But, you know, this is more just like the updates of what happened, of like what's happened. Cat update, it's like good and bad. So, I guess I'll start with the bad. The cat isn't dead, so okay, that's good. But the cat is not dead. It was getting to the point where she would refuse to leave the apartment, which is bad because we'd have to pay a pet fee. if we had kept her. She wouldn't leave the apartment, and we were kind of fearful that we weren't going to be able to get her to a shelter, which we haven't been able to. And so for a good, I think, week, she would just be meowing outside of our door. And that made us feel really bad. But we started to move the food away from the door and we didn't let her in anymore. But while that was happening, we were contacting shelters. I was joining Facebook groups. But really the reality of the situation for her and just like a lot of community cats or stray cats in general is that shelters are always full. And especially this time of year after kitten season, they're usually not accepting cats, especially if they are a humane society or a no-kill shelter. So really the best course of action was to make sure that she is able to be safe in this community and still be taken care of, and also hopefully be spayed or neutered. I always mix them up. But spayed or neutered so she can't have any more kittens, because we did catch her breeding with a certain male cat. So she is active within the community, if you know what I mean. But in any case, we left a message with the local humane society, just like letting them know about the colony of cats and that they should probably be trapped, neutered, and released. We also let the apartment manager know of the situation, and he said that he would keep a lookout. So, and also we have noticed that other people in the apartment complex leave like cat food out, so that makes us feel a lot better. We did buy a cat carrier that we're not going to use, but we do plan on getting a cat eventually, so we will use it for that. So all is well, truly. But so like that's kind of the good and the bad. That's the situation we're at. So it's unfortunate that we weren't able to get her into a shelter, but kind of then over the weeks, like seeing how she interacts with the other cats, it was kind of a debate on whether or not it would be good to take her out of that situation. And also, like, I think the bird and rat population are going to be fine. We saw some wild rabbits out here and they're hanging. So I don't think they're too big of a problem on the local ecosystem. And at the same time, it seems like they don't even leave the apartment complex. So like they'll be well taken care of, and that makes me feel a bit better. But like ultimately, it is sad that we weren't able to get her in. But there's been this black and white cat, and he's been hanging around, and he's super skittish, but he loves waiting by the door. So, like, good that she will be okay. Kind of sad that I feel like didn't enact much change, but like these situations, it's kind of hard. I'm sure if we had stayed like a year or so, things would have been different. If we had stayed a year, we would have taken her in. But realistically, taking her back to Washington would just probably make her more stressed, and same with the other cats. So the project I started, I don't know if I mentioned exactly what it is, but the project I started at the start of my internship finally concluded this week. So that's crazy, because that was like week 1, week 10, so that was cool, and it's a great thing for my portfolio. But I took pictures of it, I shipped it off, hunky dory, it's out, the billing is done. It's out of my hair. It's in the filing cabinet. I've also I filed stuff away today, so that was fine. But I have been like designing a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of like marketing materials. The website's done. I think I mentioned that before I left before we took a break from making videos. So I will put a link to it. But yeah, I'm proud of it. I think I can do better. But I mean, I can always do better, because I'm always going to continue to grow. Done a lot of pre-press, just stuff like that. I mentioned it either later or earlier in the video, but I got to have a lunch with another kind of prominent graphic designer lecturer in the area, Whitney Holden. And in the first segment, I said
Whitney Holden Rush, but I don't think that's part of her name. I think it's just Whitney Holden. Super nice. But basically we talked about, because I kind of wanted to follow her career path, we went to IKEA, not to buy anything. Well, we were going to buy things when planning the trip to IKEA, but then decided not to, but we still wanted to go to IKEA, so we went to IKEA. By the way, do not go to the IKEA in Grand Prairie unless you love AI art. Because they got a freaking ton of it. But the showrooms were nice. Unlike the one in Washington, it's only one story. So interesting. I got way off topic. But anyway, so to IKEA, had a great time. We bought 2 monkeys. End of story. Back to what I was originally talking about. I had lunch with Whitney Holden. And basically, because her career path was working in the industry, like working at firms, and then becoming a lecturer, and going and like, you know, grad school path or whatever. But I learned she actually kind of unintentionally got into lecturing, because apparently, like, I guess once you, or not I guess, but once you reach a certain level of expertise in a field, or just like how long you've been in a field for, sometimes you'll come in as a guest lecturer. There's an actual term for it, but I don't remember what it is. And then from there, you can get signed on permanently. And so now she's senior lecturer and design program manager. So that's like crazy. She did it in like 5 years. So that's awesome. But basically her path was she worked in firms, did guest lecturing, and then became a senior lecturer. And now she's doing grad school. And she like really brought up the importance of like working in the field, because then you have more experience to be able to teach. Which like I knew, but like hearing it again kind of like made it stick. So I kind of have a better idea of how I want to take my career, which is probably work and then go to graduate school like way down the line. So not I'm not going to take like a gap year and then go to graduate school. I'm just going to work, and then if it works out, it works out. But that was really nice. And that was work related because I went with Rob. The clamp thing was kind of work related because I went with Rob. But I mean, it's just been kind of like learning a lot of different things, taking a lot of photos, and I feel like a weird kind of side effect of this internship is that I've gotten really good, or I think in my opinion, I've gotten really good at kind of like product photography. So now I know I can probably like add that to my portfolio, which is nice because that's just another thing I can add. But yeah, I also got a message from a former alum of Central Washington University for a job. I'm still waiting to hear back, but if I could get it, that'd be great. But in the meantime, I've been kind of mass applying to jobs. So I applied for one at a letterpress studio in Seattle. It's temporary and part-time, but like it would be such a cool experience. But I've been applying to like a bunch of others, mostly remote, not really out of like a want for a remote job, but just like that's really what's available in the graphic design scene. So I've been doing that, but yeah, we're kind of wrapping everything up at work. I'm starting to put all the files like back on the company server so that they have it when I'm gone. And it's a weird feeling now, like knowing that I only have 2 days left, because I kind of like got into a rhythm with it, but now it's like I gotta move on. I can't stay there forever. I mean, they would love for me to stay there forever. Like I got a job offer, and it almost feels stupid to turn it down, but like I think in my heart I know that Texas isn't the place that I'm gonna stay forever, and I don't know if I just don't know how long I could stay. Even if it was like I'm not gonna stay forever, but I'm gonna stay for a certain period of time. I don't know what that would be. And I guess like selfishly, like I miss home, I miss my family, I miss my friends. I haven't seen my friends in, I guess it would only be 5 weeks because we went back, but like all my friends in Ellensburg I haven't seen in would now be like 3 months, which is like the longest probably that I like wouldn't have seen them, because even over the summer we would go over but like being here really made me kind of see the importance of having a like tight knit group of like friends and like having that support system. And even though Logan is a great support system, he's one person, you know, and it's a lot nicer to have that wide body of people. And I know if I stayed here longer, I would get that eventually, but I think right now for the position that I'm in, like emotionally, physically, mentally, like I don't think it would have been an option not to go back, but he did offer like to do some remote stuff, like in kind of like contracting out work, so that's cool. And he also said I'm welcome back anytime, so that made me feel better about making my decision. But in 2 days, I guess more like 3 days, we start the road trip back. And I do want to vlog a bit more on the road trip, and it may not be every day. It might just be like when we have time, or it might be like at the end of the road trip we compile something. But I do want to try and document it because I have like documenting this whole experience. But yeah, it just kind of it gets hard when, you know, it's a long day after work and we have to do dishes or clean around the apartment, make dinner, maybe like, you know, take a shower or do laundry or something. And then on top of that, record a video. And then also have Logan edit the video and then post it because I usually fall asleep. But it is a lot of work. Like I don't really envy other content creators. And obviously if they do that and they love that, that's great. That's great for them. But it's a lot of work. Like, and especially if you don't have a huge team of editors or even like a small team of editors. Like it's me and Logan. And I'm really just the person on the screen right now. But like when I, like those first 2 videos or first 2 or 3 videos when I was doing it and it was just me, it would literally, I would get home, eat something, record, and then edit for the rest of the night. And I want to have other time to do stuff. And I think that's a big thing too of like what I learned, and I might just be repeating what I say earlier or later in the video. But I've really learned the importance of having a work-life balance and also like trying to find the mix between kind of elevating my career versus like taking care of myself. And those 2 things can happen at the same time. Like I can enjoy working on a design and like how that be fulfilling. But like right now, because that's all I do at work, it's kind of hard to come home and then sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna work on this project. And so I think the road trip's gonna like help with that, and it's also gonna give me some great ideas. But sometimes I just want to come home and play video games or read. I finished a book. I finished Oliver Twist. I think I mentioned that because I think I finished it before the last episode, but I don't remember. If not, I finished Oliver Twist. It was a great book. It turned out to be a happy ending, so I was happy. But now I gotta, I think the next book I'm gonna tackle is either, what's the book you read?
Project Hail Mary.
I'm either gonna read Project Hail Mary, I'm probably gonna read Project Hail Mary because I can read that on the road trip, and then I'll finish that. But then the next is, I'll be rereading The Odyssey, so I have to get that book. But yeah, but overall, like, yeah, it's taught me a lot about really just like what I value, both like interpersonally in my personal life and also like in the workspace. Like I won't talk much about my experience right now just because I mean I don't really want to share the interpersonal feelings I have publicly on the internet about my workplace. And it's not like they're terrible, like bad, awful things. It's more just like things I've noticed, but you know, that involves, you know, other people's private lives, and like I'm not going to air that out in a public setting where I post videos to YouTube, and I just think that's weird. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons of why I made the decisions I made, but I don't know. It's been a really great learning opportunity, not only for learning stuff about graphic design, but yeah, just learning stuff about myself, which is weird to say, but I think I've grown a lot. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like this has been I'm extremely happy I did this. Like, I mean I don't really know if I can thank a certain person for pushing me to do it, because I feel like the person who pushed myself to do it was myself. I think everyone else probably would have rather I did an internship in Washington, but I'm really happy with the decision I made. And like, even though like this isn't gonna be like my final resting place, making it sound like I'm gonna die here, but it was a great experience, and genuinely almost everyone I met was just the kindest person ever, and would help me in a heartbeat. So that made me feel really good. And my coworkers were always very sweet and really like valued my my like journey into learning, that was like really great, because I feel like often you hear of internships where they just like pile the work on the intern and just like don't care if they like learn anything from it. Like they're really just there to like make the work flow better. And not saying that I didn't have work piled on me, because I definitely did, but at the same time, like they were very patient, and like if I messed up, they would explain to me like why, like what I messed up, how it affects the business, but then like also solutions to fix it, and then also just like what to do next time, which was really nice. Like there was never a moment where I felt the need to like, or like felt like I had to like step out and calm down, because everything was explained to me like either calmly or just very comprehensively. And I think that's also just like I've grown more to not take everything to heart, but that's just like being very kind, being very professional, very mature about it. But yeah, overall great experience. But I'm ready to come home. But yeah, if I had to say the best thing about this internship, it would probably be the people, the experience I got, but also just more time to kind of, I guess, be in the adult world, so to speak, but just kind of like be on my own. Well, not on my own, Logan was here, but like I guess be by ourselves and have to navigate a lot of things and like sudden costs, because my mom knows this, but I cracked my phone, the back glass, last week, and that was a surprise cost that I wasn't ready for. But because I had saved up, it wasn't like, it was like, it didn't hurt us very much. So like, that's good. But, just, it was a good taste of like what the rest of life's gonna be. But yeah, I'm ready to come back. And when I get back, I'm gonna go through my room and...
Hey guys, you may notice that I'm in a completely different location wearing something entirely different, and that's because this is being filmed a day later. But I wanted to finish what I had to say. So I wanted to shout out Milo for being an incredible mentor and just kind of really guideful figure while I've been in Dallas. Like I've appreciated it a lot. Excuse me, I'm eating. But like, I think if it wasn't for him, I definitely wouldn't have taken the jump to come to Texas. And now I've been able to have this really great experience and have all of this like knowledge that I've learned about like her production and just like kind of the direction I want to take my career in the future. And obviously without Milo, I mean, none of this would have happened. So very appreciative of that. And I'd also like to shout out Heath and Lisa for basically being now my second parents, and always making sure that we were taken care of, like buying groceries from time to time, or just like checking in. And they bought us dinner, I think the first or second week, and that was like I think it was for my birthday, but I'm very grateful for that. They've really been like another kind of more adult figure that we've been able to kind of lean on and just like have that support, which has been really great. And like I've started to, I mean, I've always kind of felt this way, but like thinking more of them like as like a second mom, like a second dad. And like especially with Heath, it's really nice to kind of have that, I guess, male parental figure, just because I don't really have that anymore, but very much appreciate it. all of your guys' love and unconditional support just has been like super helpful. Like we wouldn't have been able to do this like without the help of so many people. But yeah, and I think that really covers it, because I think we talked about what the fun stuff we did. I don't know, we'll have to, and I guess Logan's in the same room, so if I forget to mention something, he can just tell me we need to shoot more. So, but I'm gonna have some great stuff to add to my portfolio. We're gonna have a great time on this road trip, and we're gonna eat good food. But today we're eating leftovers because we need to eat leftovers so we can make more room in our fridge up there. But yeah, so this has been Dallas. Obviously, I'm not in there right now, but it's been a great adventure. I do want to come back at some point and explore the city, but yeah, and I'm gonna try to keep making videos, I think, but they're definitely not gonna be on a weekly, not even like a daily basis, just because I gotta do my career. Sorry. Having a bit of acid reflux today. But yeah, so that's kind of the summation of the series, a release of this Dallas one, and then we're gonna do a video on the road trip, just like as an entirety that we're working on. So, but that's the big updates, and we're homeward bound to Washington. It's gonna take us a week, but we'll get there. But all right, have a great night, my friends and family. Make sure to eat at least 3 meals a day, maybe a snack, maybe some dessert. Go crazy, maybe have a drink if you're of age. But if you don't drink, that's totally fine. Have like a Shirley Temple or something. Go crazy, go wild. But I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm gonna finish eating my chicken with these stir sticks I've been using as chopsticks. Peace.